Hello everybody, welcome once again to one of our interviews. I'm joined today by the lovely Phil Whitaker. Nice to see you, Phil. Now Phil works as a midwife at Lancaster Hospital. Phil, what is life like as a midwife in lockdown?
So it's been very strange. So I was on a night shift. I just started a night shift when Boris had first announced the lockdown for the first initial 3 weeks. And then since then, sort of a lot has changed from then till now. Our PPE has obviously changed loads. In fact, it's even just changed recently on Monday that we now have to wear a visor as well as a mask as well. So it's really strange working in those conditions, but rather hot. But yeah, I think especially at the start of when it was all starting, there was a lot of anxiety around going to work, especially when you looked on the board on Delivery Suite and saw, oh, they're COVID positive and they're COVID positive. It was all a bit like, oh, just want to turn around and go home. It was quite an anxious time, but I think sort of as time has gone on, you sort of got a little bit more used to it. We had very much a lull where we had like no COVID patients for a long time, and that does seem to be slightly on the increase again, or more people that are coming through the doors that have been in contact with people that have tested positive. Yeah, I mean, it's been strange, but I've just started on community as well. So I've just started working a week on Delivery Suite and a week on community. So again, so that's going into people's houses. So again, that's strange wearing all the different PPE. But I started, it's a bit strange, but I started using a seat cover, plastic seat cover for on my chair. So I look like a little mechanic going to people's houses, but just as a way of sort of protecting myself and the other houses that I go in. I feel like our disinfecting has gone to the extreme at home, sort of when I come in, disinfecting everything before I walk in the house. But yeah, I think in a sense of work, it hasn't really changed other than the PPE. We are still doing exactly the same in terms of maternity services. Yeah.
And how's things been at home with your family, the extended family? What's the environment been around that?
Yeah, so I think in terms of lockdown at home, we've had quite a lot of fun. We've made probably quite a lot of memories, a lot of gardening and a lot of time outside. And I think we were very blessed by the weather. You know, we had so much sun, didn't we, which was lovely. But obviously it was hard at the same time. Normally we would see loads of granny and granddad at home. And obviously that was quite difficult to have to just stop that contact. So, but we did make the most of it. We set them up on FaceTime, so they had to learn very quickly getting used to the technology for that. But we were able then to FaceTime them every night, and able to set Granny up on WhatsApp, so then we could send her pictures of what we'd been doing. So you sort of make the most of it. I think definitely technology has been a blessing through all of this, even just in terms of, you know, keeping in touch with family and friends, but also with church at home and things like that. Being able to still be connected with church and still have that routine on a Sunday of sitting down and still being able to engage with church and worship.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a few positives, aren't there? What's for you been some of the highlight, I guess? What have the positives been of this time of lockdown, the benefits that you've seen?
I think it's been quite nice just to spend time as a family and at home. It's been, you know, it has been nice. And just being able to get out and go out for walks and sort of, we've just made the most of what we could do. We've done a lot of going for a walk and packing up a picnic, or taking a flask with you wherever, you know, sort of wherever you're going, and maybe going for walks so we hadn't necessarily been before, and sort of going around different places. Yeah, so that's been nice.
Do you feel like God's kind of been part of that? You know, obviously your faith kind of helps you in what you do in terms of your work and at home, and how's your faith kind of played out in that?
Yeah, definitely. I think, you know, when we've been going for the walks, you know, you can see, I think sometimes it's so easy to forget of all sort of like the creation around you, and you sort of take it for granted. But I think it's been good in this time to stop and to pause and actually see that creation that God's created, and actually to see how, you know, wonderful God is, and that how, you know, how he has created all of this. And I think, you know, it's great to see that actually we have a faith in a God that's so powerful to create all of the world. And actually, I think that's given me the reassurance that actually, you know, we have faith in a big God and in a strong God, and you know, a God that was powerful enough to create the world, and a God that was powerful enough to conquer death, and, you know, a God that is powerful enough to conquer COVID as well. So I think that's a reassurance.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Philippa, for joining us today. That's really encouraging. Remember, folks, God is in control, and if he can create the world, he can take care of COVID. Thanks very much, Phil. Wish you all the best working in the community as a midwife. Goodbye.
Thanks. Bye.